Hi everyone, I'm Karen from Sew and Save, and I'm here at the Poderosa today, and we are doing Creating with Karen. This is our second video in our series that I'm calling the Ukrainian Project. Our first video that we did talked about doing the sunflower in the window mini quilt to help show our support for the Ukrainian people and to raise money to help support the Ukrainian refugees. So if you haven't seen that video, it's on our YouTube channel, and I hope you check that out and pick up one of these kits. Pick up a couple. One for you, one for your family, one for the kids. We all want to show our support and help everyone out. But this time, now that we're done with this one, we are going to talk about this adorable carrot table topper. Easter's coming up. It doesn't even have to be Easter. It just needs to be spring. It's sort of spring. It's not spring outside now, but it's pretty soon it'll feel like spring. This little carrot, we're calling it the carrot table topper, the pattern is designed by a Ukrainian lady, and I am so happy to have, I want to say meet her, because we have been emailing back and forth for the last week, and she is just delightful and just a wonderful person. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Nadia and her family, and this is a pattern that she has designed. And so when you purchase a kit, the money from every pattern will go directly to Nadia, and 25% of the rest of the kit will go to help Ukrainian refugees. So let me tell you a little bit about Nadia. She's 43. She's a quilter, just like us, and so I'm happy to be able to personally help another quilter. I think at this time we really are looking for a way to help these people, because we feel kind of helpless. I feel kind of helpless. So I was happy to find another quilter that we can connect with and help. So Nadia is 43. She has 2 children. One is an adorable little girl. She's in kindergarten, and then she has a son in 3rd grade. We're going to be showing you some pictures of their family. She sent us some pictures of the family. Those pictures are from last summer. So they enjoy going to the Black Sea, and there must be a river nearby where they live. They live right outside of Kiev. So she was a teacher of, I'm going to get this wrong, of Ukrainian literature and language. And when her son was born, she retired from teaching to take care of her son and be a full-time mom. And that's when she discovered the love of patchwork, which is what the Europeans call quilting. And so she's been quilting as a hobby ever since. And then she started a little Etsy shop where she sold some of her finished projects. But then we kind of fast forward to February 25th, and Nadia, her 2 children, her sister, and her mom, see, I can hardly even get through this already, left Ukraine and drove to Poland. It took them 2 days of very slow driving through Ukraine to get to Poland. So they are now in Poland, and of course her husband and brother-in-law have stayed behind. And she wrote me a delightful letter, which I would have read online, but I can't get through the letter. I can't get through the letter without crying. So that's okay. So we are helping. So I want to help her and help other Ukrainian people as well. She is very upbeat, she's very positive, and she is very hopeful that she will be able to go back to her home near Kyiv when this is all over, and is of course concerned about how to rebuild, and of course is concerned about her husband and brother-in-law who remain there. So she has been able to enroll her children in school. So the one boy is in 3rd grade and is going to school there, and the little girl is in kindergarten. She has filled out all the paperwork that she can to hopefully find a part-time job. She was able to bring her sewing machine and just a few sewing supplies. So this week, the girls and I are going to be putting together a little care package to send her. We're going to send her some fabric. She asked for, I said, if there's anything that we can help you with, please let me know. And she asked for a couple small sewing supplies, so we're going to get those to her. I'm going to send her some fabric. Sherry Deibler is putting together some toys and things, coloring books for the kids. And we're going to send her a care package. And we're going to continue to send her some care packages as time goes by. We're going to send her some creative grid rulers and all kinds of good stuff. Maybe, you know, rotary cutters and a cutting mat and things like that. So to help her get started, she said that she had one commission to sew a baby quilt. And she likes to sew baby quilts and do applique. So we're going to help her out as much as we possibly can, and I hope that you, as quilters, join me in the effort to help her by purchasing one of her kits, and we're going to do a couple more. She's got a couple other cute ones, and we're going to be doing those as well. But today I'm going to kind of talk you through making the carrot table topper. On your pattern, when you get it, there will be a QR code. The QR code will direct you back to this video on how to make the project. If you never used a QR code before, just point your camera at it and it'll pick up the QR code. If you can't figure it out, ask your kids and grandkids. They know how to do it. If you don't want to do that, we will put a link to the video on the pattern as well. So let's get started. The first project that we're going to work on today is Nadia's beautiful circle table topper with the carrots on. So the first thing I'm going to do is quilt my fabric. I know, usually that's the last thing you do, but we're doing this first. That way, once I applique all my carrots onto my table topper, I don't have to try to quilt around all of those carrots. So let me show you how I quilt my fabric. I've already got the back ready to go, so I'm going to show you how to do the top. First thing I do is I always spray my fabric, give it a nice little spritz of Best Press, and then I iron it. That'll get all the wrinkles out. And also, if you wet your fabric a little bit like this, and then you press it with your iron, if it's going to shrink, now it's going to shrink. Because if you think about it, the iron and the spritz from the Best Press is hotter than any dryer that you're ever going to have. So this just kind of pre-shrinks my fabric before I even get started. So I give it a nice press. Beautiful. Then I use bone ash. Bone ash is like a 505 spray, except I'm not spraying it. I'm not getting all that spray all over everything. I don't have to go someplace and lay something down. This is very directed, and you don't get all those fumes in the air, and it will adhere your fabric to your batting. So I kind of start and I go kind of do the perimeter of what I'm going to quilt, and it's just like a very fine sugar or a very fine salt, and I just spread that around a little bit. That's all you have to do. I lay my fabric back down, smooth it out. I've already done this side, so I usually do one side and then I'll do the next side. I start in the center and then I work out with my iron. And it irons on very easily, very quickly. I just move my iron through the fabric and it just presses it on. So this is going to hold it in place. I don't need to use pins. I don't have to do any of that type of thing. I can take this right over to my sewing machine and quilt it. It's going to be fabulous. Now when you quilt this, you can do, I stippled my whole piece, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Or you could do diagonal lines, do a grid, anything that you want to quilt this fabric before you actually do your applique. So now I've quilted, I've put the bone ash on, and it's sticky. My fabric is sticking to my batting. I can go right over to my sewing machine and quilt it. So that's what I'm going to do. I've already done one, so I can show you. So here's my fabric all quilted. And yours is going to have these cute little, I think it's going to have these little guys on the back. That's my backing for my carrot topper. So cute. All right, then the next thing I do is I found the center of my square because we're going to need to draw a circle. I know, you're freaking out, right? Nobody wants to draw a circle. There's a template in the pattern to draw a circle, but I'm going to show you an easier way to do that. So I found the center. I have two little centers. This one was a little off. So I'm actually going to use this little tick mark on the other side. So I'm going to lay this down, and usually I would take this over to my ironing mat, which is a little bit bigger than this, but I think this is going to work just fine. It just fits on here. I am going to take my quick trim and circle ruler and use that to draw my circle. Now I just lost my, oh, here it is. You're going to need a pin, and I will stick that pin through one of the little holes on my ruler, and we're going to use that to draw a circle. So I need a 17.5-inch circle. So I'm going to go half of 17. Half of 17 is, we have to do math. 6.5, and we need 6.5. No, Jill's going, no, that would be 13. We need, that would be 13. Marley, what is half of 7.5? It's 8.5. She doesn't know. It's 8.5. And it's just going, it's 8.5. It's 8.5. Actually, I don't worry about doing that math too much. What I'm worried about is the half. So I have to come over here, and I'll use, these are 1-inch holes. When you get to this little part down here, there's 1/8-inch holes. Perfect. I know, that's what I said. And so I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to put my pin in 1/4 of an inch because that will give me a half. But then I'm going to move it over 1 more 1/8 of an inch to get it at, nope, I'm just going to leave it at 1/4 of an inch because I was thinking I needed 17 3/4. I need 17.5. So if I come over here and I put my little pin in the 1/2-inch spot, I'm going to put that right through my little center mark on my quilted fabric piece. Now I'm going to count over 8 inches. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go to hole number 8 because that is going to give me my 17-inch line. And I'm going to come around and draw my circle, and my Frixion pen is not going to cooperate with me today. I'm drawing my line all the way around in a circle. And unfortunately, it is not cooperating. But you can see that it is drawing a somewhat of a decent circle going around. Do I have a different Frixion pen over here? I do. Of course I don't. So I would come around and draw my circles. Joe's going to get me another Frixion pen, I can tell. Because I need to draw another circle coming in a minute. So he's going to go get me another Frixion pen. Why it's not going through, I don't know. I could draw it with just a pencil going around on the outside as well, because I am going to cut right on that line in the end and put my binding on. So you wouldn't be able, he's like, I can't find my Frixion pen either. So I'm doing this with my chalk pencil. And so now you can kind of see with my yellow chalk pencil. And I'm going to cut right on that line to get my outside circle. Now I need to come in 2 1/4 inches, and that is going to give me a circle for me to lay my little carrot pieces going all the way around. So I'm still going to use that Frixion pen even though it didn't want to work that well. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to move this down to 0 1/4. Just like this, and get it right back in that circle spot. And then I'm going to come down 2 inches, and I'm going to draw my Frixion pen. You know, I just need this as kind of a guide to know where to set the top of my, you know, this always works when you try it out at the beginning. Worked just fine before, but we're just going to kind of come around and that's going to give me a guide to lay my carrots. So you can kind of see that. It doesn't have to be, this is all going to turn away when I'm done. I just need a spot so that I can see where to like lay the top of my carrots around in a nice circle. That makes sense? So I didn't need a really firm line. I'm going to cut, this is going to be the outside of my table topper. This is going to be where I lay my carrots. Now, to make my little carrot pieces, there's a little diagram in your pattern, and you're going to trace these onto fusible web. And I'm going to show you what I like to use in a second. But you're going to make 10 small carrots and 9 large carrots. And then there's 2 different carrot tops, and you're going to cut 19 of those. Alrighty? So to do that, I use a product that's called Soft Fuse. It comes in a roll like this, and to use it, I kind of just slide my plastic off to the edge, leave it on there. There's like 2 white caps on either side. I usually lose this 1 white cap, and that's okay. And then there's 3 sheets. On mine there's only 2 because I've used this before. There's 3 1-yard pieces of Soft Fuse on here. And they always layer all 3 and roll them up all together. And that to me is always kind of a problem because now I've got all these layers that I have to go through in order to use the Soft Fuse. So the first thing I do when I get a roll of this is I separate out my rolls of Soft Fuse so that I roll up one yard of Soft Fuse on here, roll that up on there, and then I layer my next one over the top of that, and this just kind of pops back down, and then I'll layer my next one over the top of that and roll that up over it, and then I do that with the 3rd piece. That way when I use it, I'm only unrolling 1 piece of Soft Fuse at a time, and it's a lot easier to work with. Now I can just roll this 1 piece out, kind of trace out what I need a lot of times and cut it off, or I can unroll a whole great big piece if I need to, if I'm doing a large project. So every time I use it, I just roll this back up, and then this is already stuck on, so I just slide the plastic back down over the top of it and tuck the end in, and I can store it away. If I buy it by the yard, it's always hard to store. You always kind of want to keep it in plastic so that it doesn't get, so humidity and things doesn't get to it, and dry it out. So it's a great product. It's lightweight. It irons on so easy. The paper peels off the back of your pieces very easily, and it doesn't stick like the old stitch witchery used to. Remember that? And irons on and doesn't make your needle gunky and sticky as you're sewing. So Soft Fuse, it's sold in a roll, 3 1-yard pieces on every roll. So then you end up having some, and you feel like you've always got it. You know, and then when you get down to your last sheet, then you kind of think about getting some more again. So easy to store and easy to use. So I will take and I will trace my little carrot pieces onto my Soft Fuse, trim them out, and then I'm ready to lay out my carrot pieces. So I kind of am going to just kind of start. I have 9 large carrots and 10 small carrots, and I'm just going to kind of lay them out willy-nilly. I still have the paper on the back of mine. I would probably take the paper off and kind of go with it that way. I just kind of laid these out. So you don't want the same ones. You're going to get, what did they have, like 4 or 5 different fabric to make your carrots. So you're going to have multiples of each. And so you'll have a large carrot and a small carrot kind of going all around. And I think I'm going to look at the picture as I really do this, and I think she has some with a couple little carrots together and a couple big carrots together, so it's not all large carrot, small carrot, large carrot, small carrot kind of thing. And I'm just going to put them on here so that they are not, I don't have 2 of the same fabrics together. You know, we'll play that game for about an hour, moving everybody around. So once I do that, I will come back over. Now I got one of those over there. So I'm going to play around with this for quite some time. She has about 1/3 of an inch around, or 3/8 of an inch all the way around each, in between each carrot spacing. But I think you just eyeball it and put it on the way you like it, and then tuck your little carrot tops in there. So you can see I kind of just laid it around that circle that I drew with my Frixion pen. So it didn't matter that it was like, you know, didn't draw a really sturdy line. It's enough so that I can see where to put my circles. After I do that, I'm going to applique all my pieces on, and I go all the way straight through all of this. So you can see how nice it is to have this all quilted ahead of time, because if I went to try to quilt this again, either I'd have to do something kind of just in the center and then around the outside, and then try to get in between each one of these carrots. You know that's a trial and a tribulation. So it's a lot easier to just applique your entire, or quilt your entire piece, then add your applique. I like to do a little blanket stitch. You certainly could just do a raw edge stitch around it. You could hand applique it if you like. You could use, I use a blanket stitch, you could use a zigzag stitch, whatever decorative stitch you like to use to applique these down. Then I will cut my circle, and do that either with a very sharp rotary cutter and a steady hand, or just use a scissors to cut your circle, bind it, and you're good to go. So I'm going to go do that, and we'll show it to you all finished off at the end. It's adorable. The next project that we're going to work on, and I'm going to show you how to do, is the sunflower. So we're going to do the sunflower block next. So go do this, and we'll see you in a few minutes. So you have quilted the background of your quilt, your little table topper, and now you've hopefully laid out and applique on your carrots and carrot tops. The carrot tops are a little tricky to do. I found them a little tough to do as well. So if you didn't want to applique all the way around each one of these, what you could do is just do a straight stitch kind of through each leaf of these and kind of make a vein in your little carrot tops, and that would hold them in place, and it would be just fine. So the stitch that I used to go around here is a blanket stitch. It kind of goes two forward, and then it goes two back, and then two forward and in. And when I start with my big carrots, because that'll you'll get a rhythm and kind of get your groove on as you're going. And so start with the straight part of your carrot and then kind of come around, and that will help you kind of get your groove on. And then I did the carrot tops last. So once you do that, you're going to add your binding all the way around, and you are good to go. Isn't this going to be adorable on your Easter table? And when you sit at Easter around the table with our friends and family, we will have something truly, truly wonderful to be thankful for, because a lot of people this Easter will not be with their families and won't be having the wonderful dinner that we will be having. So you will have done something to help people and have a beautiful table topper as well. So this was our second project for our Ukrainian relief project, and this was don't forget, the sunflower was our first project. We're going to do a couple more. Nadia has a pattern where there's butterflies flying around in a circle. Won't that be pretty for spring and summer? And then there's one with hearts going around. So we'll be doing those projects as well. And just like the sunflower and the carrots, 25% of each kit will go to help Ukrainian refugees, and the pattern, what we collect for the pattern, will go directly to Nadia, because Nadia cannot have her Etsy store anymore, because first of all, she's not in Ukraine, so she can't access that, and she can't open up any business in Poland because she's not a Polish citizen. So we are helping her out, and she did this beautiful project for us, and I hope that you will help support her and help support the other Ukrainian refugees as well. So have fun with this, and don't forget to check your QR code on the bottom of your pattern to bring you back to this project as you're working on it. And there will also be a link at the bottom of your pattern that will bring you to this YouTube video as well. So have fun with this. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with us. And thank you so, so much for helping to support our cause. See you soon. Bye.